Coming up, burglars hit a dozen homes in Boulder within the span of just a few hours. Some residents wake up to find them in the house.
And it appears that Neil Armstrong wasn't wrong after all, grammatically speaking, using voice analysis to take a giant leap.
And guess who Kenyon Martin apologized to? Wrong.
From Colorado's news leader, this is the #1 rated 9 News at 10.
These type of instances trigger those people to commit these acts.
A horrific deja vu visited on a small school in Pennsylvania, a community that sets themselves apart from nearly all modern things, but modern-day violence found them anyway.
And here the outside world is just flooded in the worst possible way.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Bob Kendry.
I'm Adele Arakawa. A fourth girl has now died from her injuries. 3 other girls had been pronounced dead at the scene this morning. Police say the young victims were killed execution style, most of them shot in the head at point-blank range. They were killed shortly after 11 a.m. in the small Amish village of Nickel Mines in Pennsylvania, about 55 miles west of Philadelphia. Reporter Bruce LaShan from our sister station, WUSA, is there tonight. Bruce, investigators say the gunman came to the school well armed.
Well, that's right, Adele. 3 guns, 2 knives, 600 rounds of ammunition, black powder, and enough lumber to barricade out the police, while Charles Roberts killed first those little girls and then himself.
Late into the evening, police continued processing what they called a horrific crime scene. Amish men and women passed by in anguish, looking for an explanation of the unexplainable. Police say Charles Roberts, a milk truck driver, lined 11 little girls up against the chalkboard of their one-room schoolhouse, bound their feet with wire and flex cuffs, and shot them in the back of their heads.
They were probably quiet. It's not like the children that have seen the movies and that know that somebody with a gun is probably going to shoot. A gun to them is, we're going to go hunting.
Police say the 32-year-old Roberts barged into the school with an arsenal and some bizarre grudge against little girls that dates back to when he was 12 years old. They say he picked the school, not because it was Amish, but because it was close to his home.
He made a tactical decision to go into this place. It was a location of opportunity where he could find the victims that he wanted to find, and we're quite certain, based on what we know, that he had no intention of coming out of there alive.
Halloween decorations still sit outside the small home Roberts shared with his wife and his own 3 children. Police say he left suicide notes in the house for his family, that he called his wife in the middle of the siege to say he would not be coming home. Relatives say that was their very first warning.
Here we are now facing a tragedy with no answer.
The Amish try to create their own quiet echo of heaven here on Earth, but right now it feels more like hell.
We're still in the world. We're just not part of it. We don't want to be part of it, but we are in the world amongst everybody else.
Roberts' wife released a statement tonight saying, "The man who did this is not the man I married 10 years ago." She writes, "Our hearts are broken, our lives are shattered." Adele, back to you.
Bruce, the suspect and his wife lost a child several years ago. Do police think that had anything to do with this?
They're certainly looking into that. There's an obituary that talks about them losing a child shortly after he was born back in 1997. Police are checking that, and the state police commissioner mentions that one of the communications that Roberts made, either the suicide notes or the phone call that he made to his wife, included something about being angry at God and angry at our lives, and the police commissioner thinks that that may refer back to that lost child.
All right, Bruce LaShan reporting from Nickel Mines, Pennsylvania. Thanks, Bruce.
So far, there's nothing concrete which would suggest the shootings in Pennsylvania had anything to do with what happened in Bailey last week. In fact, the state police commissioner in Pennsylvania said today, on the surface, it doesn't immediately strike him as a copycat crime. But 9 News reporter Chris Vanderveen joins us now from the newsroom. Chris, others think it's at least not a bad question to ask.
Bob, that's simply because of the facts. Both involve men who targeted girls. Both men forced the boys to leave, and both left behind rambling notes detailing in part why they may have done what they ultimately did. And the retired criminal investigators we talked to tonight say it's not all that unusual for one high-profile crime to indirectly trigger another.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised.
If you asked yourself this today, did Colorado's case have something to do with Pennsylvania's? You were not alone.
There is no doubt in my mind.
Don Lindley, a professor at Regis and a 30-year Denver police veteran, says it's not such a strange thought.
People are often in a position where they can be tipped, or as you said, triggered, to behave in a certain way.
Lindley says it's like giving someone on the edge permission to go over it. He figures what Dwayne Morrison did last week may have been the tipping point for what Charles Roberts did this week.
And somehow that gives me permission, too, that I can do it because, after all, someone else did it.
They think, aha, this guy has done it right. He's done it. That's what I want to do.
Noted FBI profiler Greg McCrary says investigators may eventually find striking similarities with both suspects in both cases, particularly when it comes to motive.
It's revenge for some real or perceived wrongs in their background, and however it gets twisted around to come out to be, manifested in this way, we're never really quite sure.
And while he says some things may never be known, and preventing future crimes of this nature will prove to be difficult, there is one thing he says he knows for sure.
People around these individuals probably were aware that something was terribly wrong, and those people need to come forward and make that known.
We did learn today a little bit more about Dwayne Morrison's suicide note that he left behind last week. In it, he wrote about childhood abuse as a possible motive, saying to his brother, "Your father chose me to be the one. I've lately begun to wonder why he chose me to be the one. Do any of you know?" He asked, "Did you ever tell anyone, or did I do something wrong as a baby? Why would a parent mentally and physically abuse a child?" Then Morrison talks about his father not knowing where he was or when he would be coming after me. That was the worst. Roberts, as we learned today, also left behind suicide notes in Pennsylvania. Authorities there haven't said much about the contents, but they could prove or disprove any ideas that this was, in fact, a copycat crime.
All right, we'll see. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
And the Colorado Bureau of Investigation today revealed still more about the Platte Canyon gunman. This is video from the day of the shooting. Agents say they have surveillance video showing Dwayne Morrison at the school the day before. The tape shows him sitting in his Jeep in the parking lot. It shows him driving around the parking lot several times, and it shows him getting out of the Jeep and walking away. CBI says it's still trying to determine exactly what Morrison was doing at the school that day.
In the shootings at both Platte Canyon last week and at Columbine High School in 1999, school resource officers could not prevent the tragedies. Still, most metro school districts have such officers and say they are effective. Douglas County has armed SROs at each high school. They're responsible for securing their respective campuses, but at times they also respond to nearby feeder schools. The director of the county's SRO program says extra officers would help, but paying for them is a challenge.
We would love to be able to expand that, but like everything else, there's many priorities, and there's only a certain amount of resources available, so you have to try and budget your people.
We asked 500 adults in the Denver area if they would be willing to pay more in taxes if they knew the money would be used to make schools more secure. 68% said yes, 27% said no, 5% weren't sure. Survey USA did the poll. Activities at Platte Canyon High School, meanwhile, will return to normal as the week goes on. Tomorrow afternoon, Platte Canyon hosts a football game against the Colorado Springs Christian Lions with kickoff at 3:30. On Wednesday, parents are asked to come to the middle and high schools with their children to meet with teachers and pick up personal items left behind during the evacuation. Classes resume on their regular schedules on Thursday.
Police in Boulder say thieves targeted at least a dozen homes in the span of about 6 hours over the weekend. And several victims woke up to find the burglars in their room. Police say it's happening at apartment complexes and houses along Broadway from Maxwell Avenue to 27th Way. All the burglaries happened Sunday between 1 and 7 a.m. Police say the men are getting in through unlocked doors and windows. And once inside, the burglars are stealing laptop computers, purses, and other electronics. In a number of cases, victims confronted the thieves.
Right now it's been non-physical, no violence. The suspects chalk it up to I'm in the wrong house, or I thought so-and-so lived here. and they've left but haven't fled, and we're concerned that this could prompt a more violent confrontation.
The victims have given police some vague descriptions of the burglars. One is described as a tall black man with his hair in cornrows. He was wearing all black. And the second is described as a black man who is shorter and heavier than the first suspect. He has short buzz cut style hair.
The State Patrol says neither alcohol nor drugs appear to be factors in a two-vehicle accident that sent a young mother, her 4-month-old baby, and her 2 teenage brothers to the hospital. The accident happened around 3:30 this afternoon, just north of Greeley. The State Patrol says the 17-year-old mother drove her Dodge Stratus through a stop sign and a pickup truck broadsided her. The impact knocked out a power pole and a street sign. The driver of the Stratus was flown to North Colorado Medical Center. Her baby and her 2 teenage brothers were flown to Children's Hospital in critical condition. The driver of the pickup truck refused treatment.
House Speaker Dennis Hastert is defending how his office first handled questions about former Congressman Mark Foley's emails to teenage pages. That tops our look at news across America today. Hastert says last year the parents of a former page were concerned about an email Foley had sent their son, but they didn't want anyone to pursue it. But Hastert says he did not know that Foley had sent another page explicit instant messages until reports came out in the media on Friday. Foley has checked himself into rehab for alcoholism and what he calls other behavior problems. Florida Republicans have selected Representative Joe Negrin to replace Foley as the party's candidate in the upcoming election. As John Mark Carr's child pornography case advances in Sonoma County, California, the FBI is looking into 5 pornographic pictures unrelated to the case that were allegedly found on his computer in 2001. Last month, Carr was transferred to California after he was cleared in the JonBenet Ramsey murder case. A Sonoma County lawyer says that the FBI is trying to determine if underage teens are in the newly revealed pictures. A pair of doctors will share the latest Nobel Prize for physiology or medicine. Dr. Andrew Fire from Stanford and Dr. Craig Mello of the University of Massachusetts are being honored for discovering a way to turn off the effect of specific genes, which could help find cures for diseases such as AIDS, heart disease, and hepatitis viruses.
With water becoming more scarce, some farmers on the eastern plains are turning to sunflowers as a new cash crop. Our partners at the Post report this blooming crop is booming, increasing 300% in value since 2002. Colorado is now the 4th largest sunflower producer in the country. Because the plants are native, experts say they do well in dry conditions. Experts believe that next year even more acreage will be planted with sunflowers to meet a growing demand not just for food, but for fuel. More on plans to use the plants as a source in biofuel in tomorrow's Denver Post.
Still ahead on 9 News at 10.
One of the greatest quotation leaps of mankind.
That's one small step for man.
What Neil Armstrong really said when he stepped foot on the moon and how an Australian space buff can prove it. Showers in the forecast midweek, something we haven't seen in a while. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. I'll tell you when the cool, unsettled weather will move in.
You've seen the construction on the city's newest landmark, but what lies beneath has remained a secret until now. A sneak peek inside the expansion of the Denver Art Museum.
And how much does it cost to kick somebody when he's down? Albert Hainsworth finds out.
All that and more when 9 News at 10 continues. You're watching 9 News with Adela Arakawa, Bob Kendrick, Kathy Sabin, and Drew Soisher on KUSA, Colorado's first and only local news presented in high definition.
If ever you're not satisfied with one of our tires, please feel free to bring it back. Thank you. Discount Tire Company.
Low prices, more choices on the world's best brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich.
I run a business and a household, so planning for disasters wasn't at the top of my list. But it only took me a day to pack up some critical supplies and talk with my family about our communication plan. What's one day out of my life to make sure my family is safe? Ready is better.
I can't download anything. I can't put anything in. I can't work like this. If I rewire this hub, would that give us a faster connection?
Well, you'd think with 3 different providers, our network would work.
Hey, you guys could just use Quest.
Managing your network instead of your business? Quest delivers high-speed internet and digital voice, all for only $96 per month. Get smart business solutions from Quest. Call 800-242-5000. That's our spirit of service.
7 years and $110 million later, the grand opening of the Denver Art Museum expansion is just days away. There have been some private functions there, but the general public has not seen it inside. That is until now. And 9 News entertainment reporter Kirk Montgomery is standing outside of the Frederick C. Hamilton building tonight. Hi, Kirk. Some pretty cool stuff,
Very cool stuff, Bob. Very cool stuff. Take a look over my shoulder here at one of the things outside. It's called Spider. It is 11 feet tall, made of bronze. It is a piece of work by Louis Bourgeois. Now, if you think that is cool, come on inside. Here you go. Now, the minute you walk into this place, you know you are something special. The atrium, amazing. 4 stories. The 146,000 square foot addition is designed, of course, by acclaimed architect Daniel Libeskind. It includes nearly 50,000 square feet of new gallery space, including 3 traveling exhibition venues and art storage. This place rivals anything on either coast, a fact everyone in Colorado can be proud of.
It's a real world-class institution. I mean, we have something that regionally that no one else has, and we are definitely on the same level as museums on both the East and the West Coast now. I mean, we have 146,000 square foot of fabulous art space here at the new Frederick C. Hamilton building, and it's really exciting. I mean, it's very busy, and to know what has transpired behind the scenes, the work that it's taken, the hours that people have put in to really make this come alive is pretty amazing. If people only really knew what it took.
Very cool stuff. In fact, we've just scratched the surface. Jaw-dropping inside. Plan on spending a few hours at least this weekend when you can take a peek at the rest of the place. Bob?
Yeah, it's a must-stop for all of us, I think, Kirk. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now, it's not often you get to say this on TV. The Hot Dam Art at All Hours 35-hour grand opening celebration is this weekend, and it runs from 10 a.m. Saturday to 9 p.m. on Sunday. Admission is free. However, they think that visitors will need a timed ticket for entry. For more information, just look for the link on the entertainment page on 9news.com.
Bet you've never said that on TV before, have you?
No, that would be DAM, Denver Art Museum.
Missing the N on the end. Yes, that's true. Meteorologist Kathy Sabin joins us from the backyard. Is it nice out there, Kathy?
You know, it really is nice. The cloud cover keeping temperatures up this afternoon, and it really turned out to be a lovely day in spite of the cloud cover up near Greeley. We've got some pictures coming in from Sky 9 late this afternoon, and just some of fall's finest around the area. The leaves definitely at peak along the Front Range. The colors spectacular from green, yellow, orange to red, really running the gamut out there, and really just starting to look and feel like the season. And with the cloud cover today, you would have thought it was colder than it was, but really kind of a warm day. As you can see on our time lapse, mostly cloudy along the Front Range. Those clouds moving along at a pretty good clip, but in spite of the cloud cover, 83 degrees today. Denver, 88 in Lamar, 86 Pueblo, 70 at both Aspen and Eagle, 81 in the Grand Junction area. The winds tonight coming in out of the west-southwest, bringing weak weather disturbance across the area. Scattered showers across the western slope and northern mountains, but Denver and the Front Range remaining dry. And the sun went down tonight with a fair amount of clouds, but just a beautiful evening. Winds are calm out here now. High again, as I mentioned, way above average. Our low last night in the mid-50s. The current reading 69 degrees with rising pressure. The winds are calm, both at the airport and here in the 9 News backyard. Outside the studios, 59 degrees in the Greeley area right now. Temperature also 59. 64 in Brighton. Aurora was 64 and 61 the current in the Centennial area. As we take a look at the jet stream, big deep trough digging in across the west. The southwest flow will bring an increase in the high and mid-level cloud cover, but much of the shower activity staying away from the region for now. Tomorrow night, though, a front will drop southward along the Front Range as high pressure builds in behind it. The winds around a higher clockwise, and with upslope flow, we're going to see about a 20-degree temperature drop on Wednesday with a better chance of showers. But tomorrow, a lot of the moisture confined to the western slope, northwest plateau, and maybe the far northeastern plains of Colorado into western Nebraska. Highs will be a little cooler than today, but still a nice day. The coolest air waiting in the wings. 99 Phoenix, 93 in Dallas, and 86 in Miami. Mostly cloudy, and the clouds will keep temperatures up tonight along the Front Range. 50s for the I-25 corridor, slightly cooler out east. 30s and 40s in the high country with diminishing showers, if any at all. Tomorrow, that front dropping in from the north. Not a bad day, partly cloudy. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s. A few showers around Aspen and Vail, and a nice day along the Front Range foothills. But tomorrow night, things start to change. And the leaves are changing. This picture from our tower camera earlier today. And we'll call for continuation of light winds out of the west. Mostly cloudy skies tonight, our low 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, breezy and mild, isolated showers late in the day into the evening. Highs in the mid-70s. Wednesday, our transition day, much cooler, cloudy, chance of light rain. Highs in the mid-60s. Thursday, warm and dry. Isolated showers Friday. The weekend, we're still uncertain about. It doesn't look like a bad weekend, but there may be a few showers here and there. But we'll deal with that tomorrow. For now, enjoy.
All right. Keep those leaf views coming, too. Those are great.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Thanks, Kat.
For all you sticklers on grammar, turns out a famous phrase that seemed to be lacking an A wasn't lacking it at all.
It's one small step for man.
For 37 years, that's what we've thought astronaut Neil Armstrong said when he first stepped onto the moon, but computer analyst Peter Ford has used a voice analysis computer program to prove what Armstrong actually said on July 20th, 1969.
It's one small step for man.
It was quite clear that he said one small step for our man, but you couldn't hear it because that sound was only 35 milliseconds, 35,000th of a second long.
Ford says he has shared his findings with Armstrong, who said he found the conclusion, quote, persuasive.
9 News Sports is next.
More bars in more places. That's what people have come to expect from Singular. And now they can expect even more. Testing from the leading independent research company proves that Singular's all-over network has the fewest dropped calls of any wireless network. The fewest dropped calls. Proof that we mean what we say. Raising the bar.
Hello, I'm Kyle Dyer. Coming up in the morning, we'll have details of a new campaign to encourage Americans to take a stand against breast cancer. And Greg Moss is buzzing with a special Tuesday edition of Where in the Town.
Many hours.
That's what a 9 Kid Who Cares gives to the community.
We'd like to find 9 young people who give their time from the heart.
The nomination deadline for 9 Kids Who Care is October 18th.
So call us or go to 9news.com for a nomination form.
So what's your excuse for not going to college?
Don't have the money, don't think you can get in,
or you just don't think it's worth it?
You can go to college, and there's help to get there.
At collegeincolorado.org.
Go to collegeincolorado.org. Go further. Go to college.
Do you want football all day, every day? Then you want NFL Network on Dish Network.
Get football 24/7 and games every night of the week. Just $24.99 a month for 10 months. Call 1-888-GET-DISH or visit iwantfootball247.com.
Let's see, football twice a week or football games every day of the week? It's a no-brainer.
Dish Network. More football for you, better TV for all.
From Colorado's sports leader, here's Drew Soicher.
Hi, everybody. The Nuggets have something far more important than dribbling, passing, shooting, and rebounding to work on at training camp. After posing for a few pictures at their practice court today, the Nuggies boarded a plane headed for Durango, where they plan to build togetherness.
I think that the team and the organization got to address the chemistry. I don't know what that means. Tonight when we meet down there, we're going to talk about it some. I don't know how far I'll go tonight, but it's going to be addressed that we were not a together team. And special teams have to be together. That doesn't mean they got to love one another. That doesn't mean they got to be huggy-dory. I mean, I think we've read about championship teams that have won championships not really liking each other, but they respected the game. They respected what they had to do. But I think we need to simply say, quit finger pointing, quit getting used and tricked by hurting each other, and stay together.
I'm sorry, Kenyon Martin finally said it today. However, Nuggets head coach George Karl did not hear it. It's been 5 months since Martin was suspended for his profanity-laced tirade directed at Karl during halftime of an NBA playoff game, and now, on the eve of training camp, Kmart's expressing regret to the wrong guy.
Actually, he came to me and was like, I just want to apologize from last year. And, last year was a tough year for me, especially in the playoffs with all the stuff that's going on. You know, he didn't mean to bring any distractions to the team. And, you know, one thing that I was impressed when you know, he told me, he said, you know, I let you down last year, you know, and it won't happen no more. So I'm very happy. I'm very thrilled to hear that from a guy like that.
What happened at the end of the season happened, so whatever was going to happen after that was out of my control. So, but like I said, I'm here now, so did nothing happen. It is what it is.
The Broncos know that vacation must be over because their lungs are burning tonight. Despite the fact the players all promised head coach Mike Shanahan they'd exercise during a 5-day break, he made them run and run and run some more during the team's first practice back together. Bronx play the Baltimore Ravens 1 week from tonight.
Mike's pretty smart. He understands that you know, when it's good to get your time off mentally, but then physically you got to kind of shake yourself up. And he encouraged everybody to take care of themselves on the time off. And when we came back, he made sure we got a good blow and, you know, blow our lungs out pretty good.
Thumbs down, I'm giving Tennessee Titans lineman Albert Haynesworth a Drew Boo tonight. Haynesworth received a 5-game suspension from the NFL for intentionally kicking Dallas Cowboys center Andre Gurode in the head. That'll cost him $190,000 in salary, and although he's extremely apologetic, Haynesworth's punishment is not complete without a Drew Boo.
I'm very sorry. I mean, I apologize to Andre. I mean, what I did was disgusting. It was I don't know, it's just something that should never happen. I mean, I'm not a dirty player. I don't play dirty. I mean, I have respect for the game, and what I feel like is I disgrace the game, disgrace my team, and disgrace my last name.
It's never happened to me. I've never been kicked in the face like this. Never seen anybody else kicking anybody in the face, so, I mean, we really don't know what to say about it.
The Nashville, Tennessee Police Department issued a statement saying it stands ready to assist Gurode in criminally prosecuting Albert Haynesworth if Gurode so chooses. So I'm sure he'll make that decision in the next day or two.
Similar to the Bertuzzi situation with the local
Moore
police.
said, yes, I'd like to.
Yeah. We'll
Sign me up.
You're right. You're right. All right. Thanks, Drew. When we come back, it's goodbye, gorilla, as the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo goes the extra mile to find a mother for Umandi.
Hey, it's Jack!
Thank you. Oh, you're too kind. Please, no, enough. You're embarrassing me. Here, get this side. It's my good side. Now get this side. It's my better side. Watch me. Every move a picture.
Payments till 2008 on any shed or garage. Pick a shed, pick a color, pick a garage. But you must choose one to get this deal. No payments till 2008 with deferred interest. Tough Shed installs all your purchases fast. Built on site, built to suit, built to last. This deal will not last long. Call before the weather changes. 7-year warranty on premier products and no payments till 2008. Tough Shed with 8 locations along the Front Range. Call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH. That's 1-800-BUY-TUFF.
Let's kick back for the moment. Toss all your worries in the air, 'cause you'll forget them when you're there. Let's go out back tonight.
Let go of the day. Go out back tonight. But the steak is thick and juicy. The shrimp is grilled and sweet. The chicken, tender. Your only worry is which to choose.
Let's go out back tonight.
Tonight, let go.
Life will still be there tomorrow.
Go out back.
A bittersweet party at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs today. Little 7-month-old Umandi, the gorilla, is leaving the zoo later this week. So staff ordered up some treats in his honor, and as always, he was the star attraction at the zoo's primate center. Umandi was abandoned by his mother the day that he was born, and none of the other gorilla moms at the zoo will adopt him. So Umandi is off to the Columbus Zoo in Ohio, which is home to the finest surrogacy program in the country, and they are pretty confident they'll find him a mom there.
Well, we hope so. We wish him the best.
Yeah.
We'll update on 9 News at 5 and 6 tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Thank you.